Good morning, everybody. We're coming to you live from the Torch Center, where we meet every Thursday morning at 9:30 to study Rabbi Wolbe on Chumash, the teachings of my grandfather on each Parsha. And we're so happy to be coming live to all of our friends online. This week's Parsha, on Parsha's Vayechi, we have a very interesting tale that the Torah tells us. And that is that Jacob, before he passes away, is giving each of his children a blessing. And we've mentioned this before. We possibly have even done a video about this. But if you look at Shimon and Levi, they're seemingly not getting a blessing. Right? They're getting a curse, but not a curse really. They're getting a criticism. Right? But it's not a blessing. Right? Jacob is reprimanding them and critiquing them about their involvement with the people of Shechem. After their sister Dinah was abducted, they went to Shechem and they made a peace treaty and then killed out all the people in the town. And Yaakov was upset about the trickery that they were using. So Yaakov uses this opportunity where he's giving blessings to all the children. For Shimon and Levi, critiques them. And that's written as part of the blessing. So the obvious question is, it's not fair. It's not fair. Why would you give to these children a criticism while you give to the other children an actual blessing? You should be successful in your business. You should be successful in your learning. You should be. He's giving a blessing to each one, and to Shimon and Levi, he's giving them a critique. So, my grandfather explains that the greatest criticism, the greatest blessing you can give someone, is teach them something about themselves. A true loving critique, a true blessing for someone is when you tell them something about their blind spot. And we've discussed numerous times that we all have blind spots. Right? We all have things we can't see. For example, right now I can't see anything that's not in my peripheral vision, right? Even in my right? So I can see here, that's it. I move my hands a little bit further back, I can't see them anymore. Right? But you can see them. And you can see everything that's behind me. I can't see, I'm blind to it. Right? So if there was something that was about to fall and hurt me, right? If you loved me and cared about me, you tell me, hey, watch yourself, right? That's not only with physical danger. That's also with spiritual danger. And if there's someone you really love, like a child, right? If you see your child is going to do something and it's going to hurt them, so as a parent, you don't say it because you hate the child. You say it because you love the child and you want to protect them. And you don't want them to be hurt. You don't want them to be negatively affected by the danger that's around them. That's the world of blessing and the world of love. What's a blessing now? A blessing is basically opening up channels for success. So if you take, for example, a blessing from a great sage, because that sage has a greater connection with the Almighty, or at least they should, right? So by them giving a blessing, it's sort of like, them passing that note saying, take care of this person, right? That's why people go to blessing from the sages, because it has a great power. But does it mean that it's guaranteed? It's not guaranteed. So if the Almighty wants it to happen, now that you've opened up those channels, it makes it more possible for it to happen. But if God decides that you shouldn't have it, then you won't, even with all the blessing in the world. But when you take a critique, whose power is it whether or not you're going to be influenced by that critique? Yours. It's in your hands. Someone comes to you and tells you, something, I don't know if I should say this, but maybe, it's important for you to realize this. Maybe you don't even realize it, but, and you find a loving way to say that they have an arrogance or they have a jealousy that they should work on. Like, really? Do I? And if it's really coming from a good place of love and friendship and endearment, then the person can work on that negative trait and become a better person because of it. It's in their hands. It's in their ability. But again, there are conditions. We've spoken about this numerous times about the conditions of criticism. The Torah commands us to criticize our fellow for any negative wrongdoing they do. But the Talmud states that just as there is a mitzvah to critique someone, and the Talmud adds, who will listen, there's a mitzvah not to critique someone who will not listen. If you know they're not going to listen, you have no business saying anything.
How do you know it?
Oh, so how do you know it? How do you know it?
You don't. Sometimes you don't.
If we don't know the person well enough, we have no business saying anything. Right? Now, a husband and wife relationship should usually be close enough where they know what triggers a good response and a bad response. Right? So it's, and plus you know how to say things in a way that will be effective. Right? Just to say things to get it out of my own system. Okay, so say it to yourself. It's going to negatively impact someone else. So maybe not say it. So criticism is the greatest blessing you can give someone. Which is why we see, again, but it has to be loving, it has to be truthful, it has to be for the benefit of the recipient, not for the benefit of the giver, meaning the person who's delivering this information. We have to ensure that we're actually doing it for the right reason. I'm doing it because I love this person, and I hate to see them, with the arrogance that they're walking around with. It's not good. Not because it bothers me. If it bothers me, it's never going to be accepted, unless they're a really great person. There's some people who love criticism because they consider it a free lesson in self-perfection. Someone who really loves becoming a better person will appreciate even from a bad source, even not presented properly, even misinformation. Because you know what? It's another opportunity for me to evaluate my arrogance. It's an opportunity for me to evaluate my anger. It's an opportunity for me to evaluate any negative trait. It's a great opportunity. You say, thank you. I owe you. I owe you a gift. I owe you something because you brought me to a greater recognition of my character. Again, we all have blind spots. So we need help. Someone who really loves us can really help us. Yaakov loved his children, Shimon and Levi. And he recognized their blind spot. So he points it out to them so that they can fix it. You have a virtue, you have qualities, perfect them. You have flaws, work on them so you can perfect them as well. But if you don't know that they're there, you can't perfect something you don't know. So that's why we have our Musar classes on Monday night, right? To discuss and figure out those traits and identify them within us. So, with that, my friends, thank you so much for joining us. We are going to continue with our regular programming, our regular Chumash class. But before we finish, I would like to ask a question. Thank God we have many, many, many people that come to weekly classes here at the Torch Center and other classes that are offered by Torch across the community. But imagine if you can have your very, very own private study partner once a week to learn with you in person right here at the Torch Center. It'd be amazing, right? It's not only learning together, it's also a friendship, it's a whole new dimension of Jewish learning, and we're starting that next week Wednesday right here at the Torch Center every Wednesday night at 8 o'clock in the evening. It's free, and we're going to have people paired and partnered to learn the topic of their interest. and we think it's going to take off very, very quickly. We have a lot of people already set up. We spent several hours last night over here. It's right by this table. You see all these postcards, and we're matching up partners already. We probably have 40 or 50 partners already set up. So if you're not signed up, right, for this amazing free program, I recommend that you sign up. We have sign-in sheets right there on those yellow cards are sign-in sheets that you can choose topic, you can choose what you want to learn, and any specifications. And I look forward to seeing you Wednesday night.
I wish I
Right.
could. The time is not a problem.
So have a wonderful
I have no
Shabbos, everybody. Thank
transportation.
you so much for joining us.